Welcome back to ASVAB Roadmap. In the last video, we learned about working with percentages. This video is about converting between fractions, decimals, and percentages. So let's get started. We've learned about fractions, decimals, and percentages, and we've seen how we can use any of these to represent the same value. So we certainly must be able to convert between these different ways of representing numbers. Let's take something like 30%. It's very easy to convert this to a fraction because we know the percentages are out of 100. So 30% becomes 30/100ths. Then to reduce the fraction, we can divide both numbers by 10. That leaves us with 3/10. So 30% is equivalent to 3/10. Now let's get that as a decimal. Well, we know where the tenths place is, so if we have 3/10, we just need to place a 3 in the tenths place. So 0.3, and there we have 3 different ways of expressing the same value. Here's another hot tip. When converting from percentages directly to decimals, all we have to do is move the decimal point twice to the left, because 100 is 2 orders of magnitude greater than 1. So from 30%, we just take the decimal place, which isn't written, but is implied to be just to the right of the units place, and move it twice to the left. You can never start a number with a decimal point. There has to be a 0 first, so that gives us 0.3. We could do the same with an 8.25% sales tax. We move it once, and then if we have to move it again, but there are no more numbers, we add a 0. And there we have 0.0825, or the sales tax expressed as a decimal. This is useful because if you want to compute the sales tax on an item, you just multiply the price times the sales tax. So a $50 shirt times this number would have a sales tax of $4.13. To go from a decimal to a percentage, we just move the decimal point twice to the right, because this is the same thing as multiplying by 100. So 0.84 becomes 84%. To go from a fraction to a percent, we can convert the fraction to a decimal first. For 3/5, first we can ask, what is 1/5 as a decimal? That would be 0.2, because 5 of these, or 5/5, would add up to 1. So 3/5 must be 0.6. From there we just move the decimal point twice, adding a 0 since we need to, and we get 60%. Let's do a quick exercise. Here are 3 values: 45%, 21/50ths, and 0.43. Let's try to arrange these from least to greatest. Well, 45% is the same as 45 over 100. What should we do with this fraction? Well, if you want to compare it to another fraction, it must have 100 in the denominator. So let's get this one looking that way too. Multiplying both numbers by 2, we get 42 over 100. And with the final value, we can move the decimal over twice to get 43%, which must be 43 over 100. Now, it is quite easy to put them in order, because they look the same. 42 comes first, then 43, then 45. That means that this will be the correct order for the original values. And that was converting between fractions, decimals, and percentages. Be sure to do the practice problems and check for comprehension. We'll see you in the next video.